All right, everybody. Please find, as you come in, grab a table, stake out a spot, but this is not an event to sit by your friends. This is actually to sit by people you don't know. So if you came here from the same organization, I'm looking at my friends from the National Urban League, this is not your morning to sit next to your friends because you had breakfast with them and you probably were in the village having coffee earlier. And I love your friends, but I'm going to ask you as joyously as I can to say, we're going to make some new friends in this session. This is not going to be a talk at, it's going to be a talk with. So as you come in, grab a table, stake out a seat, find a place. We have table hosts at the tables, so meet your table hosts. We should have got them hats because they're hard to discern. But come in and fill in the spots. And then you're not going to be sitting long because we got an activity, but I want to get a couple more people in the room before I start to describe it. All right, so if you're sitting at a table somebody you don't know, now's the opportunity to introduce yourself. Come on in, bring them in. And you're going to make new friends, so grab a seat, make new friends. If you haven't met them yet, chat for a second, and we'll get a couple more people in here. I'll start describing the directions. All righty. Here's what we're going to do as you're meeting friends. We got an activity on the wall over here. This is might get kind of busy. There is a Post-it note. Oh, look at Faye. She's facilitating in the back of the room. All right, so this is going to be a move, meet new people, do exciting things presentation. On the flipboards to your left is hopefully a Post-it note with your organization written. These are live. We literally are pulling them as people are checking in. Your job is behind me. Grab some dots. If you see any of these organizations on here that you have a personal contact or relationship, we need a blue dot. If you have an organization that you're currently partnering with, that means you're doing an activity or program. That's a green dot. And the yellow is, hey, I want to know these folks. Some of you in this room are going to be like, I don't know anybody. That's okay. Some of you are going to have 400 dots on your organization. We are going to do this in a community fashion. We're sharing dots, and we're trying not to step on each other. Because of the nature of this room, that's going to be challenging. So if you're hearing my voice, and you're like, hey, I want to get up and I'm ready to do my connect the dots, the boards are over here. The dots are actually sitting in front. Share the dots. Here's your guide. It doesn't have to be 100% correct, but we're just trying to get a sense of who knows who and who knows what. And we're going to do 3 more activities throughout this thing to help you meet the other person in this room or persons that you should know. So this is why I'm encouraging you not to sit with your friends, which there'll be plenty of time for that later. So again, get on up, stand up. This is an active thing. Tom and my friends back in the room, you can play a little bit of workshop activity, quiet music if you want while people are sorting. And this is going to get messy because community is messy. We also have a lot of tables in this room and a lot of people. It's like going to be no chairs left. So for those who just are coming in, I'm going to rehash these directions and then I'm going to let our AV crew play some music. Go over to the wall. On the wall are Post-it notes with everybody's organization. Grab some dots, share some dots. If you see an organization that you have a personal relationship, use a blue dot. If you see an organization that you have partnered with, use a green dot. If you want to collaborate with an organization, put a yellow dot. We're trying to just get a sense of the room, who's the most connected, we need to get more connected. Blue, the directions are right on the easels, or at least 7 of the easels. Blue, you have a personal relationship. Green, you are doing an active project together with them. Yellow, man, I would like to know them. I would just like to know them. Oh, clarification. The green dot is you are currently partnering or you have partnered. Also, as you're bumping into people, you can, say hi. You don't have to do this in silence. All right, we got some more people coming. And our table hosts, you do not have to participate in this, but as more people come to your table, please make sure they understand what the activity is. So table hosts, you don't have to do the activity. Your job is just to make sure your friends at the table. Table hosts don't need to put up the dots. Your job is just to make sure as more people come in, make sure they understand the directions. I'm going to stop talking now. If someone's lost, come find me. I will walk you through the directions. We got other people coming in the room, new people coming in the room. Mark and team, find a place to sit. Table hosts help figure out where the open seats are. Invite people to come sit. Someone's going to invite you to their table, make a new friend. Blue is you have a personal relationship with someone or that organization. Green is you've done a partnership or a program with this organization in the current or past. And yellow is I'd like to know that organization. This is going to get messy. You're bumping each other. We got open seats up. Corey, come on. We got some open seats up here, sitting up here. Open seats. Come on down. There's some open seats here at Jess's table. Jess raising her hand. Table host, if you have an open seat, raise your hand. Get people to fill in the seats. All right, still the last couple people coming in. This is a hot ticket. It's hard to get in here. Okay, new people. If you've just come in, look for someone raising your hand. They're going to find you a seat. If you are looking for a seat, find someone with a raised hand. Table hosts, if you have an open seat, raise your hand. For everybody else who's just come in, we got an activity. Your table host will explain. And because we have a traffic jam in our signs, please, if you're done, step away. There's directions right on the board. The same directions are right on the board. And also, when you're bumping into people, say hi. Like, we can be friendly. This is a physical icebreaker. I'm good. It's good to see you. Come on in. All right, make some new friends as you're sitting at your table. If you're done, please come sit down so we can let the newer people come in and do their activity. All right. A couple of you just walked in. This is the last time I will say the directions. Find someone with their hand up. If you don't have a seat, raise your hand or come find someone with a raised hand. Yeah, that's the directions. Okay, for the rest of you, come over to the melee over here on the wall. Every one of your organizations should have a Post-it note. We're going to do a wild, unorganized, slightly bumpy activity to have you put colored dots. All right, and if you're uncomfortable in tight spaces, you could go ahead and sit down. It's okay. We're just trying to get a heat map of our room. Heat map. And if you bump into someone, say hi. I know you. Who are you? Got Chris Wink in the room with dots all over the place. That guy's gonna have 1,000 dots on his thing, technically. Table host, are we doing good? We got a couple open seats. I think. Do we have? Did Cecilia let everybody in? Okay, you don't have to hold your hand up if you want to rest your arm. All right, this is Community Building 101. Y'all talk about those serendipitous collisions. We are literally giving you physical serendipitous collisions. Make new friends. I'm sorry the tables are so close. We hope the room would be a little bigger. Oh, we're making friends. See, look how courteous everyone is. All right. If anyone is confused, I'm standing up here. All right, so if you have not played the dots game, we want you to go over to the wall, put the share the dots, corresponding color on the corresponding organization. If you're confused, find someone, come see me. And if you don't have a seat, come see me. You got some open seats? Okay. All right, I know there's a lot of organizations, and some of you, like my friend Ola over there, has got a dot on everything. Do your best. It doesn't, 80% correct, 80% correct. And if you're done, please step away from the boards. Please step away from the boards. Share the dots, share the dots. All right, we got about 2 minutes left. You can't win this game if you don't get it all done. That's okay. We're literally doing a live human heat map right now. So do your best. Do your best. And then if you think you're sort of done or good enough, have a seat. Some of you are trying to still see the thing. Blue is you have a personal connection or relationship with someone at that organization. Green is you have done a program or a partnership, or you in the current or past. Yellow is you really want to know that organization more. Now, I understand some of them you don't know what they are, but that's why we're here. All right, you have 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes if you're still by the dots. If not, come find a seat if you're done, or you're sort of done, or you think you're done. There'll be more time later if you're taking this really seriously. Some of you A+ folks, overachiever type A like me, are like, I gotta get them all. It's okay. There'll be a little bit time later, so come over and find a seat, and then we're gonna get everyone seated. All right. You got 1 minute left. If you're still doing dots, I love you. You're winning. You can sit down after you get to. There's gonna be more time. There's a break later. You can come back to this. I promise. Some of you are like, I'm gonna win the dot game. You can't win a community. But you're doing a great job. You're taking it really well. I know some of you checking out your own little thing, and if your thing has no dots on it, don't feel hurt. This is why we're here. We're gonna help you meet folks. All right, so we're going to have everybody think about sitting down now. If you're not done, we'll come back. We're going to think about sitting down now. All right, let's all find a seat now. Team, let's find a seat. This is good. We're actually on time, wildly, after all that wildness. Okay, who doesn't have a seat, needs a seat? Find a seat. All right, does everyone have a seat? All right, is any table host feeling neglected, like they don't have enough friends? Who's feeling neglected? Does anyone have less than like 4 people? Because we got to spread out because this room is tight. Oh, they could use a couple more over here. Kim's going to join over there. Hey, I got to give a shout out before we even start. Did y'all meet Cecilia at the front door? Who am I kidding? Everyone knows Cecilia. Cecilia was our bouncer, and she was trying to be kind, and she was just trying to make sure that we got people in here that were going to have a real valuable experience. So if she was slightly brisk, it was because she was trying to get 81 people in this room. And Lindsay for checking everybody in. So Lindsay and Cecilia, thank you. It's hard to be a bouncer. She did not want to do that. Well, she did, if we know Cecilia, but you know. So thank you, Cecilia and Lindsay. My name is Andy Stoll, and I am the founding executive director of the ESHIP Alliance. And we, the ESHIP Alliance, are co-hosting this event with Jen. I am actually the second most important person in the room because my co-host over here is Faye Horwit. And Faye wears many hats. She was the first chair of the ESHIP Alliance's Leadership Council for the last year, and because she was simultaneously the CEO of Forward Cities, a national organization we'll learn a little bit about. Well, Faye did the jujitsu only someone like Faye can do, which is she somehow got out of the CEO role and passed it on to a wonderful new CEO there. But Faye is right now the Chief Program Officer at Forward Cities and the designer of our program today, and is going to really be the co-host. I just got to get your attention. That's what Faye said. And Faye has just joined the ESHIP Alliance as our first field building fellow. She's got a small fellowship from us to help build out one of our programs we're going to talk about called the Commons. So she's doing the Chief Program Officer part-time, and she's joining us as our first kind of test of our field building fellow. We'll talk about that more in a second. And so Faye's going to co-host, but I'm supposed to play a video before we get started, and then after that, we're going to hear from Jonathan Ortmans, who I don't know how we got him in this room, but he is the founder and president of the Global Entrepreneurship Network. But we're going to play a video, kind of get everybody grounded in what we're talking about today. So Tom, when you roll this video.
An entrepreneurial ecosystem is all of the resources that surround entrepreneurs as they move their business forward. Ecosystem building is about getting those resources and folks in the community to work together by creating an environment of trust and collaboration, supporting big ideas, supporting people when they take risks, supporting people when they fail, creating that right culture that is ripe for entrepreneurial success. Because of the changing nature of our economy and our communities, we have to take new approaches in ways that will make sure that everyone has the opportunity to participate. Traditional ways of supporting entrepreneurs looked at the individual parts of an ecosystem. Ecosystem builders take a systems view. They put entrepreneurs front and center in that system, and they say, how can I make our community more supportive of entrepreneurs of all types? So the role of an ecosystem builder is really a systems leader. It really takes leaders stepping up who care about the whole system and not just the individual parts of the ecosystem. Entrepreneurial ecosystem builders come from economic development, community development, libraries, universities. They come from different sectors. They could be entrepreneurs themselves. Anyone who cares about the success of entrepreneurs in their community. The challenge is that there's thousands of people that are working on building their entrepreneurial ecosystem, but they were doing it what I would call custom and bespoke ways. There's very little consensus on some basic elements. How do we create the environment in which entrepreneurs in our community can thrive? What are the processes? What are the steps? How do you build an ecosystem? How do you measure the health of an ecosystem? And I think as that practice of ecosystem building matures, it becomes more available to more communities. The only way we're going to figure out how to do this is to figure it out together.
Special shout out to the Kauffman Foundation providing that video with us. We got 3 people from the Kauffman team here who you'll get to hopefully meet as we're bumping around. I know some of you don't know me or are a little weirded out because you're like, how did your voice get on a Kauffman video? I used to be the senior program officer at the Kauffman Foundation, so that was in fact my voice. We did not steal it and put my voice over it. And much appreciation to my Kauffman colleagues for not reporting that to the public. I'm just kidding. It's totally cool. Thank you, Kauffman team. All right, so up next, I don't know how we got him here, but Jonathan Ortmans is a dear friend, a collaborator, founded the Global Entrepreneurship Congress in Kansas City. In Kansas City in 2009. There was 200 people at the first event. You have been around the world, Jonathan. I have been to your event in Istanbul, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, in the Crown Prince's Palace, in Australia, and right here in Indianapolis in the United States. Jonathan, come up. He's going to welcome us, but he is also going to tell us a little more about the global network that he and his team have built in the Global Entrepreneurship Network and their many programs, not just GEC. So, Jonathan, thank you for being here.
Hey. Thanks, Andy. This is the room that I want to be sitting in for the rest of the day, Andy. And as you well know, much of the inspiration for what we've been doing came from the work that Andy led at the Kauffman Foundation with some amazing people who are also in this room, supported by people like Cecilia and others, helping us to rethink this new model of how we collaborate for the purpose of building entrepreneurial ecosystems. And Andy took us all the way back to the beginning, which was, let's begin, and we did it over 3 years, let's begin with principles. What are the primary values we want to put in? What are the various elements? And the big thing I hope we can talk about here is, especially with the emergence of an organization that will dedicate itself to this notion of what's the theory of building ecosystems. You've seen, as Andy mentioned, some of the ecosystem building maps out in the Gen Village. But it's really around how far have we come and how far do we have to go? Because for me, we have an international community here, and many of this community come to us and say to us, we're in a hurry. We believe in the people who, for example, came out of the ESHIP process. We think that they've done an amazing job. We've listened and we've read, but we want you to tell us what to do. So this is always a big question in this field. How much do we, and I look at people like Andy, I look at so many of the listeners, and you are very good at asking questions. As Brad said yesterday on the stage, this is all about asking a question. It's about, meaningful mentorship. Just in the same way we try to do it with our kids or as teachers. We're trying to make sure that we're not trying to instruct. We're not telling people how to do it. We're helping them to connect the dots and find it and contribute to the overall field. But I want to hopefully, Andy, out of this is to emerge, because so much of what I think a lot of communities are doing is they're anxious to get a sense of, tell us more about what it is, what have you learned, so that we can pick it up from stage 3. So as we move through this, I hope that's something that you'll keep in the back of your mind. I think being at this event, Andy, people have a sense of Jen and what we're doing. But I think perhaps the most important message I would stress to all of you is one that we use the word bold in the theme of this meeting. And it's very much, I hope you'll be bold in your leadership within this field. And the reason for that is because we feel like there is a leadership vacuum, and there's a need for entrepreneurs and ecosystem builders to be able to, with confidence, know what they want to do and to lead the rest of society. As many of you know, we have something called Global Entrepreneurship Week. How many of you have been involved in Global Entrepreneurship Week? Okay, there we go. So the whole concept of Global Entrepreneurship Week was not to have communities of who already understood entrepreneurship talk to each other. That's an important role. But our concept was to have them come together and then to look at the rest of the communities around them and say, how do we ignite their interests in being a part of this ecosystem? How do we get them to get their neighbors, their friends, their classrooms, their communities, understanding that entrepreneurship is about, as you've heard many of us say, it's about dreaming, it's about building, it's about taking risks, and it's not about marketing and spreadsheets and profit. And so conveying this message to what our field is about is, I think, what we've felt is a very, very important message if we're going to lead the rest of our communities into what is a very, very exciting world. One of the things we all get to enjoy is the fact that it is a world of glass half full communities. The world of possibility. It's a world where people are creating and building. They're not destroying and arguing. So with that, Andy, I just wanted to say I really wanted to be here today to say one very, very important thing, which is congratulations on this journey. And we are right there as your partner in this effort. And we will be encouraging you to take that leadership role in helping us to translate what we've done so well here in the United States, often through your leadership and that of others, and Victor, I see, is in the room, and others that have really been the sort of founders of this entrepreneurial ecosystem community. And we hope that you will recognize that this is a very, very important role that you will play, not just in your own communities, but by example of what you're doing to lead others. And I'll conclude on this note. Some might say the shining city on the hill that we were often referred to is a little less shiny right now. And you might turn around and say, oh, well, is this about the American brand around the world? You can have that debate. It's really about the fact that so many people come up to me and say, I'm heartbroken because I thought that everything that I thought was possible, I knew it was possible in my own sometimes very war-torn, impoverished communities or countries or economies around the world, because I would look up and say, there's always someone that can show us it can be done. We, as Victor reminded us yesterday, there is this startup nation that showed that you can build things from the bottom up and you can do it right and you can create opportunity for all. And so my biggest concern, if we get that wrong in the time ahead, it won't just be for ourselves, but it'll be that we will lose that role of setting an example for the rest of the world. So I think you might consider that your role is very important in your own community, but you just don't forget that you are also not the envy, but you are the inspiration, I think, for so many other people in the world that would look to the United States and say, help lead us, help guide us. We want to go on the same journey. So congratulations, Andy. Thanks for having me, and I'm great to be here.
Don't run away yet. Thank you, Jonathan Ortmans, for joining us today. I know your team. Your team's amazing. I'm going to do some duty for your communications team because they're sitting out there thinking, did Jonathan give them a clear ask of what they're supposed to do? And my comms team is telling me that, right? So I'm going to tell you this. But I want to say, before I say that, the call to action, what I want to say is that it's a really big deal that the Global Entrepreneurship Congress has come back to the United States after 16 years. And it started here in the United States. It's the first time it's coming back. And I will say one of the things that's amazing to me is you build a global network with your team that almost 200 countries. I didn't even know there were 200 countries. And you've met many of the folks here and really supporting entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial ecosystem building across the world. The ESHIP Alliance is really focused and is focused on the United States, building the professional practice of entrepreneurial ecosystem building in the United States. You got a 16-year head start, so you're sort of the godfather of the work that we're taking on. But Jen was heavily involved in the ESHIP Summit process hosted by the Kauffman Foundation, where I worked there under the leadership of Victor and Philip Gaskin. If Philip is here in the room. You took an activity that started at the Kauffman Foundation, spun it out into this global network. We're spinning out work at the Kauffman Foundation here into a U.S. network. We're like related cousins, brothers, sisters. Brothers is probably the better one. I was trying to come up with the word there. And so we work hand in glove in that two organizations together. Global Entrepreneurship Congress really came out of the merger of a UK-based organization and US-based organization. And so collaboration is at the key. And so Global Entrepreneurship Week is coming up in November. And if there's someone in the room who didn't raise their hands, about a third of people, how does someone get involved in Global Entrepreneurship Week as a local ecosystem builder or as a national resource provider in global entrepreneurship in November, the largest celebration of entrepreneurship in the world? That is your call to action, unless you have another one you add, and then we'll let you go to your next thing.
Hey, Andy, thanks for that. Clearly, our mission is to get each and every one of you actively involved in Global Entrepreneurship Week. But again, I want to stress the how. First of all, we want you to sign up as a partner, so then we've got an ongoing dialogue. We're including you in our collaboration and ecosystem work within our ecosystem. I hope that the value of community networks is that when you're part of multiple ones, they've all got different elements of where they're focusing, and hopefully that's good for all of us because we're sharing that kind of knowledge. But we would love you to get involved in Global Entrepreneurship Week by signing up to begin with, and then we can provide you with additional information as to how. But let me stress this. What we are doing during Global Entrepreneurship Week is encouraging you and your community to work out how do we have the conversation with people in our community that don't get entrepreneurship yet, or they haven't got involved. It could be young kids, okay? It could be specific communities of color. It could be specific communities that we feel have been often excluded from this conversation because they didn't feel confident or comfortable, or they hadn't been given the opportunity to engage. So everybody will contribute in their own way, but it's coming up. We've got a whole menu of ways that you can do activities that we've designed and planned, and you can just pick one of those if you would like. But much more useful is when you look at those and it inspires you to say, I mean, we had a whole bunch of universities last year that turned around and said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do a film fest, for 24-hour film fest. You know, and they're going to show all these films about different entrepreneurs, and they felt that was the way they wanted to do it. But whatever is your methodology and approach, to find something that you can do in your community during Global Entrepreneurship Week, it's always the week before Thanksgiving, where you can figure out what could I do that would welcome people from outside our ecosystem into the world of entrepreneurship and the communities that we have already involved. And the reason why I tell you that's also a little bit in your self-interest is that we hope that as we increase the number of people getting involved in our communities around, it can be Global Entrepreneurship Week, it can be any other activities, that will build demand for your programs. And if you have more demand for your programs, we all know that then you're going to have more likelihood of being able to build that, sustain it, and make it an anchor of what you're doing to enable entrepreneurship in your counties.
And just to be clear, how much does it cost to be part of Global Entrepreneurship Week, Jonathan? What is the charge?
You mean how much do we pay you?
No, how much? Wait. So they don't. Wait, hold on.
No.
The price is how much, Jonathan? What are you selling here? This global network that you could just become involved in? How do we do that?
Obviously, we are a nonprofit organization, so you don't get charged to be part of anything we do. There are one or two things that I think cost some money, but because somebody else is providing it and they have to get their license paid or something. But no, with GW, this is a community effort. In fact, if you come into it, you know, we want to communicate with you regularly, precisely about what value you're also getting out of it. Because, you know, I always believe that if you're going to put time into something, at some point, you're going to have to evaluate, can I afford to put time into that? And we want what we do with you to be something you said, every minute I spend on that is worth it, either for my community or for the organization or for myself. So I want to stress, thank you, Andy. Of course it's free, but you know, it is. And we'll be collaborating a lot with Victor and the Right to Start. But you know, as you saw yesterday in our USA meeting, we're so proud, you know, the network that has come together as a result of the Kauffman Foundation's leadership in really driving us all in this right direction. We hope that we are always working closely together, fortunately in different ways, to be able to, at the end of the day, be bigger than the sum of the parts. So I hope you're all welcome. If you're not already signed up on our platform, well, by the way, to be at this conference, you already have a profile on our platform. And just as a reminder, by the way, on your profile, you can join the Speakers Bureau. You can sign up for Investor Connect, Founder Connect, Mentor Connect. There's all these other programs. You get it all off your profile on the platform. So don't hesitate to recognize, as Andy said, all of that, it will be free, but it's also free to members of your community. So if there's people that are interested in trying to engage with people who have wider perspective, we obviously encourage you to get involved.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you,
Let's
Andy.
give him a round of applause. I don't know how we just got it for 30 minutes, but you probably got to go meet with the minister of some country right now. All right. So if you want to know more, gen.co. Jonathan is also part of this ESHIP Alliance and his team. So, and we hope that you are too. Our session today,
genglobal.org.
genglobal.org. genglobal.org. Sorry, so many URLs. We have like a lot over in ours, so I totally works. Quick overview of what we're going to do today. We did our welcome introductions. We're going to check in now about what we're doing this after. We did our dot activity. I forgot about that. We're going to do an experimental AI collaboration around community building in about a minute. We're going to hear a little bit from our friends at Right to Start about a national program, a field building program, as we call them. You're going to hear this word over and over, field building program. You're going to hear about that. We're going to take a break, and then in the after the break, it's a short break. Please come back. We're going to do a little bit about the ESHIP Alliance. What is it? Because some of you are like, I got it. I've been involved since 2017. And some of you are like, am I in the right room? We're going to talk about some challenges and opportunities that national resource providers face. If you're in this room, you are a national resource provider, unless you're a table host. And then we're going to talk about some opportunities and next steps, and we're going to try to get out of here by noon. This is a community building exercise, so we encourage you to find ways to connect and to meet. Hey, Frank Gruber. That's Frank Gruber from Establish. Frank Gruber rhymes with Uber. That's his best tagline. I never forget it. First time I met you 15 years ago, that's what you said. So what are we doing today? So how many people in the room have ever thought of themselves as a national ecosystem building resource provider? That's a mouthful. Just raise your hand. And if the rest of you are like, I don't know what the heck that is, just hold on. Raise it high. All right, so it's like half. According to the work that we did at the Kauffman Foundation over 8 years, there was 124 of you. But according to the work on those Post-it notes over, there's actually more, because new organizations discover and come into ecosystem building. But I just want to be clear on what we're talking about and why you're here today. And some folks that you might know maybe couldn't get in the front door because our bouncer. This is a very specific type of organization that you are. And if you get nothing away from this conversation other than that I tell funny jokes, is that you have peers. There are other organizations in the United States of America, in fact, more than 100, who have a program, a service, a tool, a thing that people who are building local entrepreneurial ecosystems can use to do what they do. And in being a national resource provider, or NRP, wonky, I know, but it's the best we could do. If you come up with a better name, let me know. Ecosystem builders can't do what they do without you all. And there are many of you. But many of you are so focused on helping your members or your people that use your programs. It's it's that working in your business, not on your business, and it's working in your NRP, not on your NRP. And so this is a group of folks that has been getting together since 2017. And if you're new, we welcome you. If you've been here, good to see you again. And this is the type of organization we're talking about today. Now, some of you want to talk to me about this. Happy to do that at the break or afterwards. But I just wanted to level set with that. Today, here's what we're going to do. We're going to explore opportunities to connect between national resource providers. We started with the dots. We're going to learn how to engage more deeply with Jen, check, and the ESHIP Alliance. And we're going to hear some updates on what the heck this ESHIP Alliance is. Some of you just heard it for the first time. You're like, what is it? It was actually called the Ecosystem Building Leadership Network until June 1st, 2025. We'll talk about that later. If you walk out here with new friends, new connections, new relationships, and we get to talk about some challenges and opportunities as a national resource provider, even if you're not in every state, even if you're in 3 states, you count as national in my mind. So that's what we're going to do today. So, good? It's a lot. It's coming at you fast. Anybody's been to my events, anything I'm posting, it comes fast. One of our national resource providers, collaboration.ai, who's not here, but they're actually listening in via the internets because they're an AI internet company, has put together an activity. It's a total experiment. Who uses AI? Who's scared of AI? Let me just see. It's totally honest. Okay, cool. All the data and everything we use in this is going to be contained to just this group of people and collaboration.ai servers, and it will actually all be wiped in 7 days, but you're going to get a cool thing out of it if you choose to participate. If you are somebody who is concerned about AI and you choose not to participate, let me empower you to make that decision. So, to set this up, you're going to need your phones, so get your phones out. Don't log in yet, but get your phones ready. This is the shared vision that was developed over 8 years with 124 national resource providers and 2,500 entrepreneurial ecosystem builders from 50 states, DC, and Puerto Rico. The vision is a place in America where we expand opportunity for all to impact communities. Does anyone agree with that? Does that seem like something your organization? Okay. So just put this in your mind. Get out your phones. This is an online AI tool that's going to help. Well, we'll see what it does because it's an experiment. Collaboration.ai is a long-time company that's helped the ESHIP Alliance since 2017. They build AI-powered tools to help connect people more effectively. Think about your members or organizations in your network's work and your work to connect people across ecosystems. The platform helps with convenings, leadership development, ecosystem building efforts. They do some really cool stuff from the city of Minneapolis to the Air Force. And this tool is going to analyze, research, synthesize, and build on our input that we put in the next 5 minutes instantly. And you're going to walk away with a website, a personal website that only you can see unless you share the link. That's going to kind of make some sense of what you put into it. And it would take a team of 4, says their founder, a month for humans to basically analyze, synthesize, research, and build this website for you across all of our data in an instant. Again, if you don't want to participate, totally fine, but I'm excited and interested. So get out your QR codes, QR code this. If you don't know what a QR code is, Faye will help you do that. Where's Faye? It's actually 3 questions in the form because I think the form changed. Questions 3 and 4 are combined into question 3. At the top of the form, it will say our shared vision that was built again by almost 3,000 people over the last 8 years, starting back at the Kauffman Foundation's ESHIP Summits. If the vision of our collective vision as a field of entrepreneurial ecosystem is to expand entrepreneurial opportunity for all, making local, regional, and national economies more resilient, equitable, and vibrant, there are 3 questions. And it's AI. Anyone use the AI, you know you don't have to be totally not typoed. You can like just tell it some stuff. The first question is, why does this vision matter to your organization that you're representing today? Table host, you can do it for your own if you want. Table host, we can also do it another time. But as a national resource provider, why does that vision matter to your organization? You can keep it short, you can keep it long. It just depends on how much you want to type. Number 2, what is your organization currently doing? What activities to help advance this mission? There's some examples in the survey to help you like try to be succinct about that, because I know some of you could write a poem or a tome. And the third and fourth, which is combined into the third question in the survey, is what support, resources, or expertise does your organization need to contribute even more to this work? I will encourage you not to write money, because we know everybody needs money. It's like you all work with entrepreneurs, you know. Be more specific. What would that money buy you? What would that money get you? And then the last one, do you have a skill, organization, have a skill, an asset, a resource, a thing that you could share with other people in this room? What would that be? So we're going to take a couple minutes here to do that. And I'm going to let you do it. I'm going to ask Tom and team back in the back to play some really quiet thinking music, because it's too quiet for me. It's kind of creeping me out, and I'll just keep talking. And if you feel like you're going to need more time when I break from this, you can submit this during the break. Like if you're an author and you're like, I really want to get this right, it's also, as you know, AI, you can just sort of write however you want to write. Only the AI is reading this. All of this will be removed from the internet, or the private link, after you submit it. So we're not going to publish it on Twitter. But I will also say collaboration.ai and the team at the ESHIP Alliance will see an aggregate version of this. There's no way I can read all of your writing, so I'll give you a couple more minutes here. If you're done, put your phone down. I know that's hard, but just put your phone down, because then I'll know you're done. Please don't check Instagram. I promise I'll be interesting. I'm going to queue up Kim Lane to just come to the waiting room over here if she's done, because we're going to give you a lightning pitch here at the end, after this, but just prepare Kim. The waiting room is well, let's see. Let me check my facility map. I think it's over here. Thanks, Kim. You can come up on stage, Kim. All right, who is gonna be anxious if I start? Do you need more time? Who needs more time? Raise your hand. Okay, a couple more. Okay, sorry. I'll give you another minute. Okay, I got one more minute, and then we're gonna, because we want to get you to break. I want to make sure you get your break. And if you can't listen and type, you can just set the phone down and finish it when we go to break, because we're going to hear from Kim for a couple minutes, and then we're going to go to break. Y'all who are done, I'm really impressed. I just want to say this out loud. In normal rooms where people aren't community-oriented, they just start talking and then we get out of hand. Y'all are doing really good. I think it's also our DJ back there has got the chillest, coolest music. All right, so I got about another 30 seconds. People are still typing. If you're not done, just set the phone down. It'll still be there when you come back. Just don't refresh your browser. All right, DJ, I'll have you turn that down just a little bit. In the second half of this session, we're going to talk a lot about building the field. Building the field, what that means is if there's a professional field, someone has a profession, in that field, there would be things like training, certifications, metrics, career paths, university degrees, tools, resources, things y'all have, but we need more. Oftentimes, the most effective field-building programs involve multiple organizations coming together to collaborate, like the GEC that we are involved in here, or like the 1 Million Cups program that involves hundreds of communities across our country. To help you get in the mood of what a field-building project is, I'm super excited to introduce Kim Lane, who is the COO of Right to Start, and her colleague Victor Huang was here earlier, the CEO, but he had 9 places to be. Kim is going to share an opportunity. You're getting it before anyone else knows about it, because Right to Start is particularly interested in having your organization be a part of it. So Kim, I'm going to give you a minute or two to share a little bit about America the Entrepreneurial.
Is this on? Okay.
It's on.
Hi, I'm the COO of Right to Start. So who's familiar with Right to Start? Oh my gosh, beautiful.
Your PR's working, Kim.
So we've been building this organization for 5.5 years, and we've introduced 60 pieces of legislation or inspired the introduction of this legislation across the country. 7 states are implementing our ideas. We've built a major grassroots network, but we have an exciting announcement tonight, so I can't go too much into details, but we're launching a national campaign called America the Entrepreneurial, like America the Beautiful, but the Entrepreneurial, to reignite the nation's entrepreneurial promise. So, there's so much about our nation's founding and the startup movement and founders who wanted to forge a better future for themselves and for their neighbors, but so much of that has been lost. And we hear from people all the time that it's not just entrepreneurship, it's the entrepreneurial spirit and the sense that people lack agency and they lack a sense of ownership over their own lives. So what we're doing with this campaign is we're actually leveraging America's 250th startup birthday. Who's on their radar America's 250th birthday? Okay, great. It's about half the room. It was not on mine at all, but it's going to be a big moment in the nation's history, and so we're really leveraging it as a moment to break out of, basically leveraging it to create a breakout movement for us in this room. I know at Right to Start we have partners we work with and entrepreneurs we work with, but it's sort of like out of our orbit. People don't really know what we're doing or why it matters. It's like we're constantly beating the drum of new companies create new jobs, but only 18% of Americans know that. The problem is there hasn't been a really cohesive way for people to take action unless you're part of basically this kind of a network. So we're developing playbooks for people to take action. We're going to have a whole network of partners, but we need everyone in this room to help us get there. So we want to inspire 250,000 Americans by the 250th birthday, July 4th, 2026. And we'll have all kinds of announcements, QR codes and everything like that, basically 24 hours from now. Andy let us do a little quick preview.
I didn't let you. You are giving these wonderful people a sneak peek of the sneak peek. So
yeah,
thank you,
it'll
Kim
be
and
part
Victor.
of, we're partnering with the ESHIP Alliance, the Global Entrepreneurship Network. But the idea is for every American, there's going to be a way to take action. For every policymaker, there's going to be a playbook. For every state, there can be a coalition, and we want to level the playing field to make it easier for people to start and grow their companies, but also just to reignite the spirit of entrepreneurship across the country. So more to come. Right2Start.org is the Right to Start's URL, and we'll be announcing more tonight.
And just because, let's not waste the opportunity, Right to Start is doing this campaign, but what else can they find on your website, or what problem can they solve for local entrepreneurial ecosystem builders and policymakers on their website? Just so if you're not enticed by that one, what's at Right to Start's website? What can I find there?
Hey, so many ways to take action. What we do is we created Right to Start to connect the grassroots entrepreneurs with the grass tops policymakers and civic leaders. Historically, that's been a big divide. There's actually not an advocacy group for entrepreneurs. And think about for other special interest groups, there are advocacy groups who fight for them, and entrepreneurs are heads down building the companies, and no one's advocating for them. So we created this to actually train people on how to advocate for entrepreneurs or how to even share entrepreneurial stories with policymakers and civic leaders. And we've seen, like I mentioned, changes across the country. So we're building these coalitions. We actually have a training on the website to train you on how to advocate. But this has actually been a gap in our work. Well, you just put me on the spot because part of the problem is that our work has been so hyper-focused on building these coalitions, but we're unveiling these playbooks so that anyone can take action.
What's the website one more time?
righttostart.org.
Pretty easy to remember. Join the
Thanks,
National
everybody.
Policy Advocacy Group that many of you, who's involved in Right to Start? Just let's do a level check. Okay, the rest of you, righttostart.org, check it out. Thank you, Kim Lane. Thank you, Victor, who stepped out. All right. Y'all have probably been sitting a bit. I promise the second half, we're going to do some more interesting, exciting activities. If you haven't finished your collaboration.ai survey, do finish that. We're going to take a 10-minute break. I know that's not enough. But we got so much. We got three activities to do when we come back. We're going to try to get you out of here by noon. Let's take a 10-minute break for those who need a drink of water, quick restroom break. If you're staying in here, make friends, meet people at your table because we're going to be doing an activity. We'll see you back at 10:25 right here in the room for the next set of this. Thank you very much. For those of you still working on your collaboration.ai survey, go ahead. If you could submit that by the time we get back from the break, that would be helpful to the collaboration.ai team. They're listening in and just want to make sure we get all the data in there, or your data in there, to come up with our insights. A couple of you are awkwardly sitting at your table, so I'm going to help you out. Find someone at your table you don't know and say hello, unless you're an introvert and you need the breathing time. So if you see someone across the table, and what you can ask them, since we're at the Global Entrepreneurship Congress, is if you could go to one country in the world you haven't been, what's the country? That's your icebreaker. Hey, table host, as you're moving the easels, just make sure let's keep them on the side because I don't want to block people's view yet, but be ready to move them. Because there's a presentation before the easel moving. Sorry if that direction is contradictory. But be ready. Be ready, table hosts. I saw you aggressively moving things. Good job. Someone who's a facilitator should you go faster. We're going to come back in about 3 minutes. I'm just warning you that I'm going to come back to this. right, folks. You're doing exactly what I told you to do, which is meet people, but we're going to go back to our program. So wrap up those conversations and grab a seat. If you are still doing your collaboration.ai survey, please do submit that, because we want your input to be in the aggregate input. And so finish that, and in 1 minute we're going to start. So if you're standing and talking, say, I don't want to shame anyone, but if you're still standing and talking, please grab a seat. Please grab a seat. Okay, in about 30 seconds, we're all going to sit down. All right. Couple more people coming in. Grab your seats. Table hosts, make sure everyone's got a seat, looks comfortable. Just then the last couple people come back in. Thanks for coming back in. People coming back in, grab your seats. All right. Tom back there is going to play us another video. So Tom, let's advance to, oh, sorry, let me advance. Sorry, I got to do my job so you can hit play. All right, there we go. Maestro Tom, give us a play. Look closely, you're going to see some familiar faces.
Can you think about it for a second?
You would think somebody after 32 years would be able to answer that question in a heartbeat.
Why do I do what I do?
My name is Graylin Swilly Woods.
My name is Michael Eisman.
Stacy Wood Jackson.
My name's Bill Stoddart.
I do what I do because I know what it looks like to be on the outside looking in.
Talent is universal, but opportunity is not.
Basically, I do what I do because exposure breeds opportunity.
I've seen how somebody starting a business can actually change their entire family tree.
I think that when we have the collaboration within our communities, everyone wins.
It's a way to make a difference. And I believe that entrepreneurship is the life and leadership skills of the future.
I love to connect people. I love to serve. I love to listen to people and try to see how I can help them.
And I have a generation behind me that want to be empowered. They want to live a better life, and I have to work hard for them as my mother and my grandmother and all of my ancestors worked hard for me.
The programs and the events and the classes and the space that we provide will be here a lot longer than I will. That's why I do what I do.
I believe in people's inherent dignity and their right to be able to pursue their passions and dreams, because I've been lucky enough to do that, and so I want to use the gifts and abilities that I've been given to empower other people to do that too.
I think local government can and should be a strong force for creating opportunity and inclusion in my community.
The primary reason I do what I do is because I can see the impact to the communities that are important to me.
I gather people to create collective work, collective action, and collective responses to make the community better.
I started a business, and I started a second, and I bought a third, and today I make sure that I help other families have the same kind of options for themselves too.
I do what I do because I like to be activated. And activated for me means that I can see the immediate impact that I have on individuals that can also affect their communities.
I do what I do because I love people.
I love to create and build things.
I want to be a lever that can move the world.
I'm rather compelled to
take care of people.
And it's very important for us to keep fostering this type of community and entrepreneurship across the U.S.
The people in my neighborhood and in my city don't deserve the kind of suffering and fear that they're living in.
I feel like this is the thread that stitches through everything I've done.
It was really important to me to make sure that others had a much clearer path when they're starting that first company.
I want to make sure that my state and my community has a future that goes far beyond farming or the occupations of the last century.
I do what I do because it's my definitive purpose to do.
I do what I do because I get a great sense of fulfillment from helping entrepreneurs better understand the technology that's available to them to help scale their ventures.
To make a difference in my community and to be able to inspire other people who are just like me.
I do what I do because it's a chance to give back.
And I'm at the part in my career where I'd like to give back and see that more people are at the table.
I do what I do because I really want to help people trust their own dopeness.
Entrepreneurship is the fastest path out of poverty. It is the social solution to so many of the issues that face our society.
To create a more just and vibrant society for a whole lot of people as opposed to just a few.
I do what I do because I believe sometimes it's too hard to be a founder or an entrepreneur, and it's often too hard to be somebody who can help or benefit that founder or entrepreneur. So my entire existence is connecting those two dots so that that knowledge can be shared between people who want to mentor or give back and the founders who need that guidance and knowledge.
When you have a lot of knowledge stuck inside of your head, and you have a lot of friends with knowledge, and you know that if you were to combine your brains together, like Pinky and the Brain every Saturday morning, that you could probably help an entire community, or you could help a lot of individuals out. That's one of the main reasons that I do what I do.
For those of you who walked in a little late, that was a film made by New Folk, a filmmaker out of Kansas City, at the 2018 ESHIP Summit, and there's about 620 folks there. Let's give a round of applause for the dozens of people in this room that I just saw for telling us more about why they do what they do. That represents much of many faces in the ESHIP Alliance, both local entrepreneurial ecosystem building practitioners and representatives of national resource providers. I want to start with that video just to ground ourselves in this moment, in this moment of immense opportunity and immense unpredictability for you to think about as you're finishing your time at the GEC. Why do you do what you do? Why do you do what you do? Because it is very easy to get trapped, to get so focused on the minutia of the email returning and the preparing for presentations at GEC that it's always helpful and useful to ground yourself in the why. So I'm going to take some time. A couple of you have already asked me during the break. Are you going to explain more about the ESHIP Alliance and the work that really began? So I'm going to take the opportunity here on stage to share the story of the ESHIP Alliance. My first question, did you know who the person of the year in 1966 is on Time Magazine? Nobody, don't Google it. Who was the person of the year? 1966, Time Magazine. Anybody? Is anybody been around 19? And me? It was not me. I was. That would make me. I'm gonna get you later on that one. In 1966, Time Magazine selected a generation to win the Person of the Year. It was actually the younger generation. 1966. You know your American history. You can think about why that might be. So I want to be clear that when I'm standing up here and saying this is what the ESHIP Alliance is, I am not talking about me. I just happen to be the guy that the mic got handed to. Over the course of the last 9 years, starting at the 2017 ESHIP Summit, over 2,500 people, including representatives of 124 national organizations, people from all 50 U.S. states, D.C., and our friends in Puerto Rico, where is Denise and our other Puerto Rico crew, participated in this. Who participated in something related to the ESHIP Summit, EBLN, EBLP, and now the ESHIP Alliance? It's okay if your hand's down. This is the invitation to join the community. Thank you. This presentation represents over 9 years of work that was started by 65 national resource providers hosted by the Kauffman Foundations, dozens of staff members at hundreds of those organizations. And this is the story we have to tell at this stage in our journey. So I'm going to share that with you. After that, we are going to do, I swear, less talking and more small group conversation to talk about the challenges and the opportunities facing national resource providers in this present moment. We're going to talk a little bit about ecosystem building for those of you who maybe are new to the term. Thank you. Good move. We're going to talk about the problem the ESHIP Summit is trying to solve for, the ESHIP Alliance. I'm going to do that a lot. You all can check me on that. We're going to talk about our history, our strategy, some of just a smidgen of the projects, and an invitation to be part of it if you aren't already in the club. And if you're already in the community, it's just a re-invitation to continue to contribute and to be part of this growing community, national and really, to some extent, global. Entrepreneurial ecosystems. For those who watched the video earlier, some of you probably literally wrote these words because this was all co-created by all these folks. Entrepreneurship matters beyond just individuals. It helps the families that they are from and the communities in which they live. But entrepreneurship doesn't happen in a vacuum. That successful entrepreneurs have to succeed in communities or ecosystems. 30 years of research funded by the Kauffman Foundation since 1991. Some of you who probably did that research or were funded that research are here. Shows that entrepreneurship has a ton of benefits. That it addresses job creation, wealth and income inequality, the creation of wealth. In fact, almost 100% of net new jobs are created by young companies who are started by entrepreneurs. But these ecosystems, this new way of thinking, they can't be bought. You can't just write a check, you have to be built. And there are human beings whose job is to build that. And we call those folks ecosystem building practitioners, or for short, ecosystem builders. Some people don't use that as their job title, but they are still doing that type of work. We know from the research and from the work that you all have doing, and some of you for 30 years or longer, I'm looking at you, Peter, that this work benefits not just the entrepreneurs, but the communities in which they live. If you want to read the stack of research that backs that up. There's actually a couple organizations I'm going to send you to. Normally I'd be like, oh, talk to me, but you know what? There's a couple research organizations, including GERN, the Global Entrepreneurship Research Network back there. They'll give you the papers if you want to read the footnotes. And what we've learned over the last 8 years with the ESHIP Summit is ecosystem builders are everywhere. But ecosystem builders wear many hats. They come with many, from many sectors. They have many different roles. They work in economic development, chambers of commerce, universities, grassroots leaders, they're artists, they're community organizers, they're activists, they're mayors, they're public policy officials. They are folks who run entrepreneurial support organizations. They are people who just care about entrepreneurship in your community. You do not have to be you do not have to be someone with a fancy title or have a lot of money to be an entrepreneurial ecosystem builder. You just have to care about the entrepreneurs in your community and to work to build that collaborative system that supports them. There's also a couple of people in here up there, so that's cool. I like that. This was a art project we did to begin to really capture the faces of ecosystem builders by the ecosystem builders and national resource providers by the photographer Jamie Milne out of Des Moines. So she's got a whole collection of these awesome photos. So entrepreneurs matter and ecosystems matter, but we are at a tipping point. For those of you who've been with us since the beginning, you're going to notice the ball moved about 30 yards down the field since the last time I stood on a stage like this. This is good news. Ecosystem building is the next generation, the next wave of economic development. To build more inclusive, community-driven strategies, or to have more inclusive, community-driven strategies to transform local economies. I am speaking to the choir here because that's what you all support, even if you don't use these words. With this growing momentum, though, and the resources available nationwide, we are at a tipping point for broader impact. 8 years ago, when we started the ESHIP Summits, people said to me, are you making this up? Entrepreneurship and ecosystem building. No, we are not making up. It's been going on for decades, but it's kind of coalescing into a practice with the name. But we are still at a point in this approach that if we want to get to widespread impact, we need shared standards, more common language, better metrics, proven practices, and stronger infrastructure. Does anyone in the room feel like they have a pretty good tool or resource that can help an ecosystem builder do a thing? Raise your hand. The rest of you, y'all just shy because I've looked at your websites. But to really unlock the potential of this practice, this emerging profession, actually not even emerging, this profession that is here, we really need to build this professional field. Like any profession, there would be degrees, there would be certifications, there would be trainings, there would be playbooks. There are many of those. Right now, our problem is actually there might be too many resources and they're not super organized right now. But the good news is y'all have them. And if we could just get organized like the DOT thing, it will really help us make it more accessible for local leaders who need those resources to help entrepreneurs in their community. So what is the ESHIP Alliance? This is the burying the lead, Andy, 19 slides and an hour and a half into your presentation. The ESHIP Alliance brings together a growing national network of organizations, and just to make this super clear, organizations that we often call national resource providers and people to advance entrepreneurial ecosystem building as a widely recognized profession. For those of you out here who do ecosystem building on a daily basis, I just want to be super clear. You are not making this up. It is an emerging new profession. It is a job that is and will be better resourced so you can do it in a way that directly affects the entrepreneurs in your community so they can start, build, and grow businesses. And I'm talking about all kinds of entrepreneurs, just to be clear. So our alliance, in the collaboration of many people in this room, but many who are not at GEC, we work to equip those community leaders across our many networks. There's over 70 networks in this room. And sectors. There's 24 sectors represented because y'all are from slightly different, I don't even know what a sector is exactly, but slightly different angles on this. So that they can so that ecosystem builders can find the knowledge, the resources, and the connections to strengthen entrepreneurial ecosystems. So to put it in a succinct way, the mission of the ESHIP Alliance is to advance entrepreneurial ecosystem building as a valued practice, a trusted profession, and a model for economic health and well-being in the United States. If you go back to the first opening video of the 2017 ESHIP Summit, almost 10 years ago, and actually my former colleague, Victor, who keeps getting shouted out, you listen to the opening speech. That was more or less the intent of this very large community that has grown over those 10 years. The words are a little crisper, but there's a few less words. But our vision, which I hope when you did the collaboration.ai survey, I hope aligns with every organization in this room, is that we want to expand entrepreneurial opportunity for all across the United States, making local communities, regional communities, national economies more resilient, equitable, and vibrant. So if you agree with that, the Alliance's job is to help you do that better with each other. And that you are not alone and you have peers. And for those of you who have been with us, you've heard me say this before, but ecosystem building is a team sport. Not one organization, not one individual can build a field or build an ecosystem. So we got to work together. We got to work together in mass collaboration. This is a list, and I'm going to, just before I jump this slide, I'm going to offend someone, and I don't intend to. But PowerPoint presentations have a limit on the size to put logos. So someone in here is like, my logo is not on there, Andy, but I was at the 2018 Summit. And in fact, I wrote a working paper about this that you used. So I apologize in advance, but there's just, at this point, I just hoping you give me some grace. Since 2017, Norris, come on, man. Well, Norris needs a Superman logo. Since 2017, over 124 organizations have participated in some way, some very big, and some of you, hey, I came to an event and filled out a survey. All of these organizations are national resource providers. Someone on here is looking to be like, dude, that's not my updated logo. I got an updated logo in 2020. And it's because you've been here since 2017 and we've been trying to track your logo, which changes every 3 years. So just know, if you are concerned about some representation here, I am trying to tell a story, and we will work on making sure your story is told within this story. So these 124 collaborating national resource providers contributed over the last 9 years to give insight into what this ESHIP Alliance thing is supposed to do. The easier way would be going to the back of the room, the Kauffman Foundation, and say, hey, we're going to build a national organization. It's going to do this thing, and then we're going to tell everybody what it is. That's not how ecosystem builders work. We used an ecosystem building approach to build the ecosystem building field. Got me? Since 2020, these organizations stepped up and said, we not only want to be involved in the ESHIP summits and creating what you'll learn about called the ESHIP goals, we want to help design the ESHIP Alliance. So over 2 years, 300 people participated in a collaborative process to give the blueprint for what became the ESHIP Alliance, which I'm going to tell you more about that stage in a second. And that has all come together with an elected leadership council and a core team who have guided the strategy based on that blueprint since they were elected in November of 2023. If you are on the I knew I was going to do that, the ESHIP Alliance Leadership Council, or the core team, please stand up. Please stand up. Stay standing. If you were on the Kauffman Foundation team or part of the Ecosystem Building Leadership Project that supported this work, at some point, please stand up. Generations of leadership that have made this moment possible. You can sit down now. There were supposed to be flames of fire shooting over the top, but that AV team, you guys didn't get the thing about the flames, so that was going to be good, but okay. If you see these folks, thank them for their volunteer service in guiding and really standing up this alliance based on the blueprint that was designed in the previous segment. Then there's me, the guy who only has one shirt. That's embarrassing. I didn't even think about that. That's embarrassing. That is just embarrassing. You want to get me for it? Okay. All right, just take the picture. It's embarrassing. I got one shirt. Okay. All right. That was fine. Frank, they make me embarrassed. Just show look, the guy doesn't change his shirt. Okay. I've been doing this ecosystem building type work since accidentally starting a social entrepreneurial incubator in Iowa in 2003. We didn't call it that. We didn't call it ecosystem building, but essentially the core idea was how do you build an intentional community that fosters entrepreneurship, innovation, and creativity. I was 22 years old. I didn't realize it was called ecosystem building. I did a bunch of things. I came to the Kauffman Foundation in 2017 asking for money. Victor Huang said to me, you know that thing you're doing? It's the future of economic and community development. I said, it's the what? A what? I'm just trying to make my community awesome for entrepreneurs and my friends. And so I joined the Kauffman Foundation in 2017, and the Kauffman Foundation spent 8 years on this effort to try to bring together all y'all and create the platform and the space for community to come together and advance this field. I can't tell you the whole story. Those who know me know I want to tell the whole story. I'm going to do it in 30 seconds. The first phase of this work was supported by the Kauffman Foundation primarily through the ESHIP Summits. Who attended the ESHIP Summits? Please raise your hand. Oh, that's great. Doesn't it feel like we're at the ghost 5th ESHIP Summit right here? I was thinking about that today. At that event, we centered the practitioners, the ecosystem builders, and we said, we need to co-create a shared agenda of the things that people need to be better ecosystem builders. You all do social change work. Center the people you're trying to help. So people from 50 states, US, DC, Puerto Rico. A lot of work went in by the team to recruit a very diverse group of people, not just geographically, but racially and gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, geography, not just big cities, but rural communities, and all the other ways that you can sort of think about diversity. And we're very fortunate that many of you came and gathered at those events and shared what you did, what you do and what you think through Post-it notes and dots, and it all got consolidated into a framework called the ESHIP Goals, which I'll talk about in a second. Then there was a realization that we needed a national organization that was shared amongst everybody, that was not the Kauffman Foundation, that could have shared leadership and could continue this work for the next 2 decades. So a group of folks led by an awesome core group spent 2021 to 2023 getting together, mostly online because it was COVID, remember? To say what would a national alliance that supports entrepreneurial ecosystem builders and the build the field, what would that look like? So that thing was called the Ecosystem Building Leadership Project. Was anyone involved, came to it, got on a thing, went to Indiana, we were here in Indiana, involved. Oh my God, that's so awesome to see everybody here. So that 2-year effort seems kind of tedious, right? But ecosystem building is based on the principle of relationships matter. Relationships first. You build the relationships and then you find the collaboration. So some people may think this has taken a long time, but I say we're just getting started. Because in relationship building and community building, when you build the relationships first, things go slow and then they move fast. And we're now moving to the part where it moves fast. So out of that blueprint came our current effort, which actually started in 2024 after the Leadership Council was elected. We've spent the last year and a half figuring out how to stand up based on the blueprint, the ESHIP Alliance. I was on the Leadership Council and actually was very thrilled in that position because I was a group of many and was heavily encouraged to apply for the executive director position. And frankly, I had a job, so I was not looking for it. But thanks to many leaders on the Leadership Council and actually many of you who when I said, isn't it someone else's turn, y'all called me and said, are you serious right now? You serious right now? We like you only got one shirt too. You're like cheap, easy to go. So I stepped into this role in June 1st of 2024, and we're exactly 1 year later. There's no way I can possibly sum up 9 years of this work by all y'all. There's no way. There's no way I can count all the dollars that y'all have spent on this and all the time y'all spent. So here's my crazy, simple oversimplification of it. We started in 2016. The Kauffman Foundation invested about $30 million in building the field. That doesn't include just the ESHIP summits, but capacity building to almost, I don't actually know the number, but it's 30 or 40 national resource providers received grants from the Kauffman Foundation related to our shared objectives called the ESHIP goals. 2,500 people have participated. I have counted field building projects, things that solve for the ESHIP goals and create our field. 41, there's more. I don't know all of them. Part of it is we got to figure out how to track those better. 124 national resource providers. And here's some of the impact. Just some. Just as like the end of my fingernail. Like it's a little bit. 602 people have completed courses through IEDC and entrepreneurial-led economic development. What I want you to see is the shift here. IEDC didn't talk about entrepreneurs. This is the global governing body for economic developers, particularly in the United States. They did not have a course or a focus in entrepreneurship when we began this in 2016. A bunch of other stuff happened, but here's some of the signs of progress. The US government, as many of you know, has vastly increased its investment in federal grants for ecosystem building, more than $13 billion. 12 US states have created a state-level office that focuses on strengthening the entrepreneurial ecosystem. A lot of that is thanks to the work of the Right to Start Coalition, the Right to Start Coalition and their ambassadors. And over 248 mayors have taken an action in their community that we've documented thanks to the good folks at the National League of Cities. Where is Corey and team? They're here somewhere. The National League of Cities. They're back here. And the goal in all of that work is to build a network of networks. You all are networks. We build a network of networks. And the approach is to unite individuals and organizations under a shared banner to create a collaboration platform so we can work better together easier, so I don't have to just call everyone one at a time, to work together on a shared set of objectives. The field in 2017 looked like the left. Disconnected, pretty siloed, people weren't aware of each other. Through the work over the last 9 years that has led to the ESHIP Alliance, we now have a field that is more and better connected, but we can keep building. That will allow for greater impact so we can collectively build the pillars and the foundations necessary for this professional field so that more ecosystem builders can build stronger ecosystems so entrepreneurs can thrive everywhere. We have a shared set of objectives, which for someone who's new in this, it's going to be overwhelming for a second. And I'm not going to go through each one in depth. But over the last 9 years, we asked, what do ecosystem builders need? And many of you were involved in that, including our ESHIP Gold Champions. Any ESHIP Gold Champions up in here? Raise your hand. Oh my God, ESHIP Gold Champions. Somehow winnowed 12,000 Post-it notes to build this framework. We need a field that ensures ecosystem builders with diverse perspectives lead our field, that we cultivate a culture of trust and collaboration, that we establish a shared outcomes and a vision for this work. We have connected networks. We have practical methods and metrics. We know how to do it and how to measure it. There is universal support for entrepreneurial ecosystem building across people who maybe don't always think about this. Think publicly elected officials. And that the work is sustainable, funding models, training, peer networks. We pursue these the ESHIP goals through the ESHIP Alliance through right now 2 programs. The ESHIP Commons, which is an online digital platform, and I'm going to give you more details on this, that we hope to grow into a 5,000 person platform that stretches across and brings together all of your organizations and your members to reach across sectors, across individual interest areas. And the ESHIP Accelerator, which is really focused on field building projects. So we're not an accelerator focused on startups. That's a little confusing, but focused on making projects that help make the field better, make it easy to be an ecosystem builder. So more on the website on this. I got to go pretty quick here just because there's a lot to share and I want to make sure we get to our conversations. You can't read all this. It's very small. But this is what's happened in the last 9 years on the highest level. We started by laying the foundation and asking what do entrepreneurial ecosystem builders need. We built early playbooks. We co-created goals together. We created and built the capacity of many organizations in the field. And we created this backbone organization, the ESHIP Alliance, to carry this work forward for the next 20 years. We created a shared governance council, the Leadership Council. It's a lot of work in 9 years. This last year, we've been able to do collaborative events like we're doing here, create an online platform, the Commons, create a field-wide newsletter, calendar, job board, all the things that a profession would have, and right now we were lacking a year ago. And we're continuing to do work in the future around creating more funding for national resource providers and building the field, and update our playbooks, creating new resources, new toolkits. We got to work on business models and how to actually measure ecosystems. We got to do industry awards. That's the thing that a field does. So this is a little overwhelming for you. I promise we'll share this deck with you so you can read more in depth. But the underlying idea is pretty simple. If we collaborate to create these field building projects that solve for those 7 goals, which were created by more than 1,500 people through the ESHIP summits over 4 years, what do ecosystem builders need? That's what the ESHIP goals answer. I can't do it myself. Peter can't do it himself. Chris can't do it himself. We all got to work on the goals together. We have been working on the goals together. But if we do that, we get a stronger field of ecosystem building. Ecosystem building becomes a well-understood practice. It reduces barriers for entrepreneurs across the nation in all communities. It increases the number of successful entrepreneurs and ultimately creates more vibrant communities. For the foundation folks in the room, this would be our theory of change. What's even more powerful is a little coda at the end, which is what the research shows, is that adopting this way of being addresses even bigger challenges in our community. Challenges that are front of mind given the instability and uncertainty of where our country is as we transition into a new era. So some of you followed along and some of you are like, well, that's a lot, so we'll share the deck with you. But what I want to do is ground this in a couple projects just so you understand what I mean when I say field building projects. These are just a sampling for of what I say, 41. Right now we have a new speaker series we've done with the Startup Champions Network, the Make Startups, and the Entrepreneurship Funders Network. Those folks are all here today. Talking about entrepreneurial ecosystem building funding. How do you fund this work? The next one is, Mark, are you here? Where's Mark? Mark's right there. Mark's hosting this with Linda Olson, who is here at GEC, talking about Tampa Bay Wave. They've raised $20 million and had revenue of $20 million to fund their ecosystem building effort. The team from Make Startups, Eric had to step out for another thing. With some funding from the ESHIP Alliance, created one of the first fellowships for ecosystem builders in the United States. Are any of the Make Startups fellows in here? I just always like to ask. All right, we got one, two. All right, congratulations on being one of the first ecosystem building fellows in America. Thank you, Make Startups. IEDC created the first entrepreneurial-led economic development certification with SourceLink. SourceLink, IEDC, are you all here? And some help from Kauffman. I know Kauffman's here. I see y'all. And the EDA. And then our National League of Cities team, which is somewhere back there, worked with all of these partner organizations. Are the partner organizations here? Raise your hand. I saw the team from Prospera. There's Eric. Lomax is here. Have helped 248 248 mayors implement one policy program or practice in their city to help make more equitable, inclusive ecosystems. The thing that's really cool is 248 cities is one half of all medium and large size cities in America. So thank you, National League of Cities, and all of those partners for doing that over the last 5 years. If you want to learn more about that, it's National League. Actually, there's a QR code. I'll send you the deck. And last, you saw, this one's pretty cool. It's out there. GEC and the ESHIP Alliance have hosted the Hall of Models, so out there in the village, trying to build some consensus around ecosystem building models and frameworks. Cecilia Wessinger, where are you at? Cecilia, raise your hand. She's in the back. She led that project with Jen and with the Indiana University or Innovates. So check that out. Go over to the thing, scan the QR code, and give some feedback on the models. These are just examples, and I got to wrap up fairly soon. These are just examples of what has been done together and what we want to do more together. But we got to do it together. If I create a policy playbook and you create a policy playbook, you've now confused the ecosystem builder of which one I'm supposed to use. So let's work together. If we have a program that's working in equitable entrepreneurship, we should share frameworks. We can have our own programs, but we should use the same words. So those are some examples of what we're trying to build together. So that's a lot, I understand. For some of you who've been with here, you fell asleep because you're like, I heard this for 9 years. Andy, get off the stage. Get a new shirt. But for those of you who are new, I know that's a lot. And getting your mind wrapped around entrepreneurship, you got that. Getting your mind wrapped around ecosystems, okay, I got it. But then getting your mind wrapped around building a professional field, it takes a little bit of time for your mind to grow. So we'll go over this again. We'll send it to you. We have more opportunities to talk. If you would like to join us, this will be in the follow-up email, we have a town hall virtual meeting. It's called Convene on the 13th, and we're going to go over this deck again if you want to bring your colleagues or collaborators into this work. All right. A according to my Faye Horwit program schedule right here, it says the next activity is to happen at 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. Let's check our phone. What time is it? Oh, Faye, it's 11 p.m. Now, for those of you who have been with us for 9 years, y'all have been with me for 9 years, or sorry, 11 a.m., have been with me for 9. I think that might be a first because Andy's got a lot of words. So I would like you to give a very warm welcome to ESHIP Alliance's first field building fellow, and also, let's just be super clear, until last week, the chair of our leadership council, Faye Horwood, who's going to take us through some activities to do some more stuff together, and then we're going to get back to that AI thing. So let's give a round of applause to Faye. I'm going to give her the microphone.
No, it does work. Hi. I'm good here. Yep, good. Perfect. How we doing? So let's just... Andy, for you. I love hearing him tell the story of the ESHIP Alliance. Some amazing things have happened thanks to a lot of people in this room. And it sounds really good, doesn't it? How does it sound? So, my job is to tell you, what does this actually look like in real time? And that's what we're going to do for the rest of our time together today. What Andy described about activating a field, we are going to do that collectively in this room together. Real-time activation of all of this group of national leaders. We're going to facilitate some shared learning and sense-making and collaboration. And hopefully out of it will come some actionable and potentially scalable solutions that we can bring forward to the rest of the field. I would like to, as I am speaking, can our table guys actually go and get an easel and bring it to your table while I give some instructions. I'd also like to thank and introduce these folks, give them a round of applause for helping us out today, your table guides, and to Norris Kruger, who is sitting over here on the left, who is helping with our data collection today. All right, so today we're going to do a little bit of activation in the room. We're going to talk about some challenges, and then we're going to talk about some solutions. So your table guys are going to lead you through an activity today, and we're going to ask you first. Our table guys are going to ask you this major question. And I want you to say the first part with me, okay? Can we do this? Other than money. Okay, let's do it again. Other than money. Yes, other than money and funding, what are your organization's 3 most outstanding internal and or external challenges? And your table guys are going to lead you through this activity and discussion. And then we're going to come back together in 10 minutes. You also get a chance to introduce each other, introduce yourselves to each other before the activity. And we'll meet you back here in 10 minutes to do a little sense making, and then we'll break up again into our second round. All right, thank you.
Just as a friendly reminder, there's a couple tables that are not writing things down on Post-it notes, and maybe you're making a list. That's okay if we had 3 hours. But since we're going to do this fairly briefly, if you could just make sure you're writing each of the problems on a Post-it note, one problem per Post-it note, because we're going to cluster them as a group in a second. So many of you are totally doing it right in the sense that you're one idea per Post-it note. But if you're just like, hey, we're going to talk and then write, we have about 10 minutes for this conversation. So just get them on the board. It's not going to be perfect. Just make it legible and get it on the board, and that will be great. It will also help us make sure they're documented in a way that we can capture them later. I just got a question, just to clarify. Some of you in this room have two hats. You work in local communities as an ecosystem builder or an ESO, but you also work at the national level. We're really interested in the national level view, your organization, your NRP's organizational view, because you all are a very specific type of organization. And I know some of you have multiple hats. You're working locally and maybe nationally. National level view, if you can. We're trying to find shared opportunities and challenges at the national resource provider level. So hopefully you're having good conversations. If you haven't yet begun clustering your Post-it notes into themes, I know there's a desire to go deep, and that's validating that we put the right people in the room. but we want to get you out of here by noon. So we're going to move this fairly briskly, but what a great conversation starter for lunch. So if you could start clustering in your groups, just what I mean by, you can get up, you don't have to sit down. Look, or you could assign someone, that's fine. Or a couple people, just take the notes if there's themes. Like maybe there's a theme that's like, we need to diversify our board of directors. And there's a bunch of stuff about that. So maybe there's another one that's like, we need to find better ways to communicate with other peer organizations. I mean, whatever it is you think you need. Or we need, I'm trying to think, if your question is like, I need money, it's like, what does the money buy you? We need staff capacity. We need training for our CEO to learn how to blah, 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 blah. We need training on ecosystem builders for our staff. I don't know. But cluster. Get up on your board and cluster. And if you want to write on the sheet your themes, that might be helpful. So if you cluster them, it's going to be very imperfect, but okay. We're going to wrap this up, and we're going to sort of hopefully be at clustering done in about 3 minutes. About 3 minutes here, 2 minutes maybe.
It's 11:15, so they do this activity. We have them bring out. Yeah. No. Well, I can't. I've done the part. The other part I can't do until they finish this.
Yeah. And if she's going to send me, she said, I said 11:30. We'll get by 11:30. The AI results. So she said I'll send a multiple ways, a slide, or a multiple ways. So I have multiple ways to explain it. I will just skip the slide if I don't get it.
For our table guides, make sure you are writing themes up on the flip charts for the sets of Post-its. Very nice to meet you. We will stay connected. All right, if you will, let's go ahead and take 2 minutes. 2 more minutes to wrap up. 2 more minutes. For our table guides, if you can go ahead and start wrapping up, and I would love it if you could bring your sheets up. And actually, you can put them up here for me. That would be great. That does not have a ridge on it. Yeah. Bring your sheets up, please. All right, I see a table back there that looks like it's finished. If you all can bring the sheets up front, put them here. Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, last tables. We need you to bring them on over for me, please. Bring them up front. Table back in the back. Can we bring your sheet over for us? Sheet? Yeah. Your flip chart sheet. Yes. Yeah, oh, yeah. No, I don't need that from you, Laura. Okay, we need to go ahead and wrap it up. Last sheets up, please. Last sheets up here, please. Thank you. All right, for those of you that have finished, we're going to go ahead and move forward. Your table guides are now going to lead you through the second round of activity. So we got a lot of challenges that have been raised, okay? Over here. Now, what do we do if we have challenges? What do we want to do? What? Just forget about them? No, we want to create solutions, right? So now we're going to move to our second round, which is about thinking about how do we solve for some of these things. Each of those field building projects that Andy showed you, they were all born out of the need to solve for a problem or a challenge, right? And so a solution emerged, and we're going to begin that process here in the room with the challenges you've identified. So your table guides are now going to walk you through an activity where you will think about if there were a resource or a tool that existed to address your biggest challenges, what would it be and how would it function? All right? So the things that you just brought up, it doesn't have to be your own. Maybe think about the themes that came up. Right? How do we solve for some of these things? So that's what we're going to ask you to do at your tables at this point. We're going to take another 10 minutes, okay? 10 minutes. Yes, use the board. Yes. Yeah, we're still using the board.
As you're thinking through these, I would encourage you to center joy. And what I mean is you can get super focused on the problem and like, woe is me, how are we going to do that? What is a solution, a thing, a program, a widget? I don't know what the problem is. Where when you look at them, you would be like, wow, if that existed, we made that? Wow, that would really address that thing. So it's easy to do the problem and then I get depressed. We're trying to encourage big thinking, dreaming, joy, and be as specific as possible. So the answer is, and then there's an AI thing that fixes it. That's not specific enough.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap up the conversation. If our table guys will, make sure you have your top 2 and just hold on to them for us. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up. All right, what I would like for you to do, our table guides, are we done? We wrapped? Not yet. 1.5 minutes. For those of you that have finished, please. For those of you that have finished, go ahead and do us a favor. Take a Sharpie and write your name. If you participated at your table, write your name on the flip chart, just so we know who was at the table. And including our table guide, would you put your name on the chart so we can track how we work together? Full name, please, full name. All right, so I gave you even more than 1.5 minutes. Looks like we are ready to wrap up. Beautiful. If you will. All right, we are ready to move on. So what I'd like to do, let's give our table guides a round of applause for supporting our work today. We know it wasn't a lot of time, so thank you all for leaning in a little bit for this activity with us. Ideally, we will have like 2 days worth of this kind of ideation together, and hopefully at some point we'll get to that. But thank you for your time. If we can go ahead and if you're still putting names, if you can keep the noise down, that would be great. If you're still writing names, otherwise we're going to wrap up conversation. All right. Beautiful. All right. So we're going to do a little dot connecting. All right. So if you were here at the beginning, we asked everyone when you came in to map your relationships. We heard and saw that we have 156 existing organizations in this room. It's pretty phenomenal, isn't it? 156.
You all know each other.
You've been doing the work already, right? You know people who you can work with. We heard that we have 179 people who have already been partnering together and working together. That deserves a round of applause for the entire room. But what's pretty phenomenal is look at the next number. We heard that people want to collaborate. They spotted organizations that they want to collaborate with to the tune of 170 potential collaborations. That is why the ESHIP Alliance exists. And this is the work that we're going to be doing together. And so let's then carry it forward to what we heard, the challenges that those collaborations need to address. Number one, organizational capacity. Say yes, nod your heads if that's a big one, yes. We heard partner collaboration, or essentially lack thereof, right? Yes. We heard that people are having trouble staying on mission, right? Mission creep, and what is their value proposition? And it's a moving target, yes? Yes? Yes. We heard that people are having challenges with communication, both internally and externally in their ecosystem, yes? Yes. And then, we know this one. This one probably wouldn't have been on this list at the ESHIP Summit, the first ESHIP Summit, but now, political changes, right? We're all feeling it. So these came up across this room as the top 5 theme areas that need to be addressed as a field, at least for the people in this room. And think about how many people are not in this room, right? And what would that look like if we could talk to them all? Our next steps on the solutions that you put up here, what I want you to think about is you wrote ideas for field building projects that across the room. I think I see about maybe 50, 60, right? What if, with those potential collaborations, we were able to tackle those solutions across the room? Do you think we could do it together? Right? So the next time we came back together, how many field projects should we have? One for every person, Morris said. I don't know if we're going to get to that, but we're going to get to some good stuff. I would like to give you all a round of applause, not for what you've done here today, but what I know you are going to do as a field. So let's give each other a round of applause.
Can I interject just a thought here? So for those of you who are at the 2019 ESHIP Summit, I stood on stage and I said, hey, we have shared goals, and we have shared problems, and we see shared opportunities. And I literally said this, which slightly makes me cringe at this moment, looking back in retrospect 5 years later. I said, great, organize yourselves. Good luck. And I walked on stage. And all folks out there were like, cool, we are going to self-organize. Y'all work in local communities. You know how it works. People are busy. There's lots going on. And that really was the cementing of the moment from the vantage point of the team at the Kauffman Foundation, and as well as our group called the ESHIP Champions, was y'all self-organize is not a direction. I'm looking at Liz, who's got the strategic doing processes. You need a platform, a process with simple rules that people can find each other, who have an ask and an offer to then create those projects. And that's what the ESHIP Summit is meant to be, that platform. It only took us 5 years to actually build the nonprofit infrastructure, the collaboration, the council, the governance, the shared leadership. And that is why the ESHIP Alliance exists, to move ideas to collaborative partnerships to create new projects. And you're going to share some of the ones we've been working on.
Most definitely. So what I'd love to do, the question would be, like Andy said, we have all of this opportunity. How are we going to do this together? How are we going to sustain this energy beyond this room? So how do we build on what we've done? Well, guess what? There's a place for you to do that. How many people have joined the ESHIP Commons? All right. Thank you for being our early adopters. We are going to be expanding this. The ESHIP Commons is a digital platform for connection, for activity, for accessing resources for this room and for individual ecosystem builders. And lastly, to co-create projects that the ideas of which you just raised, to work together. So there's a digital platform where we can do that. So we don't have to wait till the next time we're together in person to begin that work. So who has been navigating the Commons? What have you found most valuable so far? One person. One, two people. The news feed. Beautiful. Hearing what's going on. What else? Access to other people, direct access. So if you have not done so, Mighty Networks has a feature called People Magic. Go in there, look at profiles, look around, explore. So this amazing platform allows us to do peer connections. You can access tools and knowledge across the field. There's a calendar of events. This was on that calendar of events. There's something I'd love for you all to take a look at, and that's our opportunity board. You will find jobs, grants, speaking opportunities, RFQ opportunities. We have the beginning of our learning journeys function. You'll see the first learning journey. If you have not taken it, we encourage you to do that. It will kind of give you the history and the background of how we got here. You'll find field news, and then upcoming, we'll be creating spaces for you to collaborate on projects and have some functionality for you to do that. You'll find resource libraries and directories start to emerge, and those, we're looking for people to volunteer to support the building of those. And eventually, we will be offering digital products as well. Most importantly for this group, we're going to be developing an NRP-specific community space where you can be together with each other to share knowledge and resources and ask for help. We're very excited to be able to share with you an opportunity that you have as NRPs specifically. And that is, if you are interested, and once you're ready, you can host your own public or private space on the platform. And that means you can host a platform for just your members, your community of folks, or you could expand it so that you can share what your organization does with the rest of the ecosystem building field. There you'd be able to host discussion forums, what you see here on the right as an example. This is one for Forward Cities. It would be branded to your organization and your colors so that when people are there, it looks like they're with you, right? Curate resources and facilitate dialogue on your priority topics. Your space could build a reputation to a go-to resource for a particular expertise. You can host virtual and asynchronous courses on your organization's pace. You can promote your courses, events, and products to the entire ESHIP Commons community. And you can use it to recruit members, consultants, instructors, and future employees. And this is just the beginning of what's possible if you were to create your own NRP space. Benefits for NRPs. Who knows this guy? All right, this is Rob Williams. This is an example of your profile page. Everyone gets a profile page that looks like this when you join and you fill out your profile. Because guess what? It's not magic. AI is good, but it is not that good. You actually have to tell it who you are, okay? But for NRPs, you get visibility to showcase your brand. We can bridge across silos and organizations that we have. You'll be able to engage and promote your services to multiple ecosystem builders. You can surface trends together. We can get feedback on things that we're working on. You can co-create solutions with all of those 170 organizations you said you wanted to work with. And we can all align together on the ESHIP goals to elevate the profession. What's great about your profile page, you see there right under Rob's picture. If I were to go on Rob's profile picture, based on my profile, it would tell me what Rob and I have in common, right? So that we can begin a dialogue and a conversation. And then below it, what you'll see is that group of pictures, that tells you, here are the people that are closest to Rob that he has the most in common with. So if you like Rob, you probably want to know the people that are close to Rob. And then you can click on them and explore them. So lots of benefits for your organization. So I am going to give an ask today. If you have not joined the Commons, please take a picture of this QR code, join the Commons today, and as soon as possible, complete your profile and start getting engaged. We are so excited for this platform and what it can accomplish. And coming next as well, and this is the beginning of it, we'll begin to do some Commons live experiences at conferences around the country, because it's really important for us not to be competing against you as organizations, but supporting your existing events in whatever ways we can. So thank you very much. That's my Commons plug for today. I'm going to turn it over to Andy.
Thank you, Faye. So as Faye steps into our first field building fellow, she's actually overseeing the Commons project. I saw some of you get very excited and sign up. I saw 3 of you look at me and goes, Wait. You're asking me to sign up for another app. Is that what you're doing? I really want you to think for a moment and really see what's behind this. So in the 2017 year in the ESHIP Summit, we asked what ecosystem builders need. 31 groups got together and did what you did, but over 2 days, and did the problem solution. Of the 31 groups, 17 people said, we need an app for ecosystem building. And some of y'all technologists, if we'd said, great, we need a technology app, the Kauffman Foundation will build it. It would be a siloed app with nobody in it, and everyone said they wanted it, but nobody wanted to get into it. What we have come to over really 10 years is we only do things that we can do together. That's what the Alliance does. We don't compete with your individual programs, just as Faye said about the provinces. We only do things that we can do together. What if all of the national organizations that support entrepreneurial ecosystem builders were in one app, one platform? What if I could go and I could learn about the National Urban League and their working communities and their programs that they have for folks working in, there's those communities? What if Start Out was there, a community that provides national resources for LGBTQ entrepreneurs? What if the Entrepreneurship Funders Network members were also there? What if the NSF Engine builder leaders who are doing the NSF program grants were in there? What if SourceLink affiliates were there? What if all the 1 million cups volunteer and leaders were in there? And yeah, you can have your own private little tent where you can hang out with your 1MC people or your Main Street America people. But when you walked out of your little tent, you were in a big tent. And in that big tent, you could find government people, policy people. You could find grassroots leaders. And then most importantly, of the 124 national resource providers like you, y'all have something you're sharing with the world. Some of you are selling it, some of you are giving away. Totally cool. But if then you could just go to one place to say, I got a thing for y'all ecosystem builders, and there were thousands of folks there who said, you know what, I'm looking for a free curriculum for entrepreneurs in my community. And if you're new, that sounds like a big ask. But did you know the Kauffman Foundation's Fast Track is a free curriculum that is available? If you said, I want to start an incubator or accelerator in our community, and I need a peer learning group, did you know MBIA has the largest network of accelerators and incubators in America? And if in that app you could walk out of the little tent, and maybe you were a member of, I'm trying to shout people out. Did you see I'm trying to do that live and I just failed? Startup Champions Network. There's so many of you. And you're also good looking. I keep getting distracted how good looking you all are. And you come out and you say, you know what? I'm a startup champion. I'm new. I'm a grassroots guy. I need to visit other ecosystems. Well, you know what? Startup Champions Network, they do that all year round. What if you're a Main Street director and you say, I want to get into ecosystem building in rural Vermont? I'm looking for like a program that I could implement around how to get angel investors activated. You know what? The Angel Capital Association actually has a free toolkit they built for you. And if the Angel Capital Association and the Main Street America people are promoting each other, we don't all have to build our Angel Capital, how to start an Angel Capital group program, because that already exists. All of that in an app, in your pocket, across organizations, across silos, across sectors, to serve both ecosystem builders and the people who support them. That is you. Now, I'm talking like an entrepreneur because we got to build it. We have 250 members already, and we had an MVP that had 700 members. It's still early. Faye is running the show in terms of how do we cultivate a community of people, but a community only works if you contribute, and a community can only be built by people working together. So please, to reemphasize Faye, join us on the Commons. Join as an individual human being, but maybe you bring your organization as an NRP and all your members or the people you serve into that fold, and Faye would love to talk to you about how that looks like, and we're building it as we go. Is that clear? So afterwards, Faye's going to be around. You can talk to her about those, some of those questions, and we will. We'd love to talk more. There's a very great word in ecosystem building, which is emergence. People come together and something happens. I don't always know what's going to happen. We did not know what was going to happen today when we brought y'all together. Both ESHIP Commons and a couple things I'm about to share have been developed over 9 years of thinking and acting and people coming together, but they are still emerging, and we need your help in building that. So how do you get involved with the ESHIP Alliance if you're super excited after not only hearing, but feeling a little taste of what this is like? We have developed what we're calling a field building partnership program. you are always welcome to participate in our events and and the collaborative spaces that we have created through the ESHIP Commons and events and other things as well. But if you are walking out of here today thinking, our organization is building the field and we want to build it with other people, the ESHIP Alliance is the platform to do that. But there needs to be a really, really easy way for people to raise your hand, because email Andy and then I'll talk to him ends up making both of our lives hard. So we've developed a field building partnership program where we're asking national resource providers to say, hey, we're building the field and we want to be a part of this alliance. The mechanism to do that is a contribution of either time or financial resources. Some of you just cringed when I said financial resources. We are fully aware that there are national resource providers that have more time, energy, and programs and interest in creating things together than they do money. But also, believe it or not, and I've been doing this in this group for a long time, there are people that are like, you know what, I'll just write you a check because I ain't got time to come to another Post-it note thing, right? So we love all people. We love all people, and we love Post-it notes. But there are folks in here as well that do provide funding. And in order for this to work, if everybody gives a little, then nobody has to give a lot. The Kauffman Foundation has been gracious enough and supportive enough beyond imagination, I think, to how far this has gone in 9 years. But if we are to continue to build our field together, we have to diversify the support and create the platform so that as funders and things shift, including federal government funding, that this thing is robust and funded. If everyone gives a little, time and money, then nobody has to give a lot, but then we can do things together. So would love, if you're interested in learning more about this and about how the Field Building Partnership Program works, at the end of this event, Faye is actually going to be sitting where you're going to be sitting, Faye, with to talk more about it, but there's a sign-up sheet, and we'll talk to you more. We don't want to give you any, we're about running out of time, so I'm going to sort of pause it right there. But if you are a leader of a national resource provider organization who wants to be part more formally of this network, we'd love to talk to you about that. If you just are like, I'm still kind of learning, and I want to learn what's going on, and I want more visibility in my organization, that the baby step to that is to continue to get involved in the Commons. The benefits of this partnership, just to keep it really high level, is to be recognized as an organization that's building that field. If you say, yes, I want to do that. Access to the national networks, you feel a really small taste of that today. Opportunities to show your thought leadership, whether it's in LGBTQ entrepreneurship, ecosystem building, or angel capital, or metrics, or research, or whatever it is that you do. The opportunity for strategic collaboration, not just, hey, you guys should work together, but how do we actually build a process and opportunities for y'all to find each other and do things together. Capacity building for your organizations, which was a top need, and the alignment with this national vision that we started this event with. Some easy what happens if we sign up for this program is quarterly meetings like this, opportunities and platforms to collaborate with some of the folks and more of the folks that aren't in the room, opportunities to find joint funding, so it's easier if we all go together than if one of us goes alone, and the opportunity to develop the projects that we've talked about today. I don't want to overwhelm you with the details of this, but I just want to give you a taste, and we would love it if you connected with Faye as you're exiting. We're actually going to do it outside because we're going to have to leave the room. Go see Faye, put your name on the list. Then you and I will have a conversation, or you and your team, or happy to make this presentation to anybody that you're interested in. We're super excited to announce today our first set of inaugural field building partners who've contributed money and time to the point we are at this exact moment at 11:59 on June 4th. If you're one of these national resource providers, please stand up. Please stand up. I'm looking at you, the foundation, Kauffman Foundation people as well. All of these organizations have been key in stepping up, and the invitation from our collective group is that we would love to have your organization involved. I said at the beginning, I'm speaking up here, not on behalf of myself or the ESHIP Alliance, but a generation of people who've been working to build our field. And these are some of the national resource providers that have stewarded this, I am not joking, for 9 years of the process. So you'll find Faye in the back with a sign-up sheet actually outside the door because we're going to have to get out of here for the next session, so you'll share that. And a little gift. Underneath your chair, you will find a ticket for a free Volvo. Everybody gets a car. Wait, what? What? That's not my script? Oh my God. You get a car, you get a car. Well, it's a Lamborghini of a little tiny button for the ESHIP Alliance. These literally just got printed. These arrived today. So you're the first people to get ESHIP Alliance buttons. What we want from you to think about as you leave is what can we only do together? And the steps to do that is join the ESHIP Alliance, Talk to us more about the Field Building Partnership and join that crew you saw on the previous slide. Subscribe to the newsletter. You see how this is getting exponentially easier each time? At eship.org. And here, let's just do this. Get your phone out, fire up LinkedIn. Just fire up LinkedIn. Type in ESHIP Alliance. I need your help. We turned on the LinkedIn page Monday. We had 2 followers, my mom and my brother, but I had to pay my brother. And I need this number to be higher. So please, can you just open your LinkedIn now? Go ESHIP Alliance. Just click follow. Actually, someone told me there's like 200 people on there already. I was like, whoa, my brother knows a lot of people. Gosh. But if you want to be part of this and learn more about it and continue to engage with this growing community of NRPs, please join us in those ways. All right. I need 1 extra minute. Can I have 1 extra minute of your time? I just need 1 extra minute because I am seeing the time, which is, this has been amazing. That 9 years ago, there was an idea, could we make entrepreneurship's ecosystem building central to the American economy, to communities? And people said, are you making this up? And it would have been easy to, at the Kauffman Foundation, to just like publish a paper or to get in the back room and say, hey, we got a plan. But instead we said we're going to take an ecosystem building approach and we're going to invite all the people to the table who are already working on it. We put ecosystem builders at the center of it. We said, what do they need? What do we need? Many of you are ecosystem builders and national resource providers. And over that time, built the relational infrastructure, the relational trust and collaboration. I'm looking at you, Liz. I'm looking at you, expert on collaboration, so that we could do more things together. And as we said earlier, community moves slow before it moves fast, and it was a lot of years of building those relationships. And Rob, I'm looking at Rob, because you and I probably met day one. And well, actually, Rob and I have known each other a long time. But we said, hey, how are we going to do this? This looks hard. But ecosystem building is a team sport. Field building is a team sport. No one individual organization in this room, including me, could build a field, a professional field to stretch across America and reach entrepreneurs in every community. But we can do it if we do it together. So I am appreciative of you all being here today, not just in this session, but in connecting with the global community of Gen. And I would love to talk to you more, connect with Faye. Here's all the ways. And someone is looking at me right now, said, I just took an AI survey and you haven't told me what happened. This is my Oprah moment, but it's kind of weird because it's not a car. In your email inbox is a link to a website for you, just for you. The only person who can see it is the person who has the link. The collaboration.ai team's AI took what you put in, put what everybody else put in, took deep research, looked at the internet to see what was available. I'll be super honest, and it's slightly looked at you across the internet. What do we know about you? And gave you a very much an experiment prototype of this tool they've built to help you understand, in the context of all of that, if you had a team of people go build a website to say, how can you think about the thing you said in there, it's on that website. What the AI gave me from the collaboration.ai team is this summary. Oops, hold on. Well, you should have it in your email inbox, and if you don't, you will have it in your. It's not from me. It's from a person named Heather. Did you find it in spam? Did anybody find it? Anybody find it? You did 10 seconds ago. Oh gosh, the AI is listening to me on my thing here. Sorry, just 1 second. I'm going to read this out to you. It's from your survey. This is with the AI speaking. From your survey responses, it's clear that everyone has deep belief in the power of entrepreneurship to make communities stronger and more equitable. You're not just running programs, you're building a field by connecting with each other, mentoring each other, sharing resources and what works. Your top needs are network access, actionable data, and collaboration, which is exactly what others in the room are actually offering. The energy and expertise in this room are exactly what is needed to close the gaps we've identified and to create a stronger field to support entrepreneurial ecosystem builders and entrepreneurs across the nation. By mapping these needs and offers, the ESHIP Alliance can move from vision to reality, actionable impact. The survey isn't the end, it's just the beginning of strategic, peer-driven action. I'll edit that and say continued peer-driven action. And people will be receiving emails with their websites shortly. Oh, the AI is maybe still sending them. Sorry. These reports will disappear in 10 days and will be wiped from the internet, and they're not on the searchable internet. The link is for you. Nobody will see it unless you share it. Thank you for experimenting with us with that. Thank you for coming here. For those of you who've been with us, whether it's 9 years, 3 years, an hour, you're welcome here. We use the word mass collaboration to describe what we do here. You can actually Google it. It's a word. How do many organizations across many areas come together with no centralized control or authority to pursue a thing that can only be done with many hands. And so mass collaboration is what you hopefully felt today, and we really appreciate you taking the time to be with us at GC. I would like to thank Faye for co-facilitating with us. I would also like to thank Megan. Where is Megan? From the Orange Sparkle Ball. Stand up, Megan. Orange Sparkle Ball is the team that built our new brand, that beautiful slide deck. If you want to know more, not just about branding, but entrepreneurial innovation, ecosystem building, storytelling, and network weaving, Megan is the person to talk to. I have also promised somebody that I would shout out this evening. There is a LGBTQ entrepreneur meetup. Did I get that right? At 5:30. Did I get that right? Hosted by StartOut, which is the nation's probably largest network of entrepreneur support and ecosystem building, working on making sure that LGBTQ folks and entrepreneurs are included in this conversation. So 5:30, where's it at? At the Hangar on Madison. So thank you. I know there's more shout outs, but y'all got to go. If we could leave the room in 15 minutes, pick up your table, because Nicola, who's hosting the room, he was going to do it. I said, no, we're going to do it. We're a responsible community. We're going to pick up our garbage. We're going to pile up things. Leave the Post-it notes on the table. Push your chairs in. Thank you, Dave, Tom, Adam, and the AV crew. Don't forget to tip your waitress. No. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here.